So we made it to another week and we're back again. Hi, ladies. How are y'all?
Doing great today. How are you, Hannah?
Doing good.
Doing good. We are now T-minus 4 days out from the Blaze Virtual Summit. Are you guys excited? I mean, 2 Webby Awards. And this is getting bigger and better and more impactf's. I feel like every time I go on social media, I'm seeing about someone else posting, whether they're a speaker, they're a vendor. Got a little sneak peek of the Juneteenth cookout virtual. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited to kind of regroup, join with other Black women entrepreneurs, learn, relate, dance, and have a good time this upcoming week. It's needed right now, as entrepreneurship, as we all know, can be hard. It's not always easy. It's not always a smooth sailing ship. And so now more than ever, I'm looking forward to that community, that fuel up that always happens at the summit.
Same here, sis.
I'm really excited for this one in particular because it comes at a very important time within especially in the U.S. and our economy, where we are in an economic recession. And I think for a lot of us Black women, we started our businesses because we needed that extra income, or we wanted to find a way to make money outside of a 9-to-5 job. And so when you're now running solo in your own business and you're still having to weather that economic downturn, it's giving, a lot of people some pause, for good reason though, because we want to come out on the other end of this successful. We don't want to have our work be in vain. So I'm really excited for our speakers and just for the energy of the community in general to kind of help support and share that knowledge and fill those gaps where we can really stay ahead of things when it comes to making sure that, financially we are making the strategic decisions that are going to support us as we go through these next however many months of this economic downturn.
I agree. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about this season, just the ability to lean on other sisters, right? Because with all that's going on, it's a lot on our mental, it's a lot on our physical, it's a whole lot on our businesses, right? Which is the emotional. But just having 5 days straight of people pouring into us from every single caveat of life and just being able to digest it and lean, I'm excited about a week of being filled, right? And it's just really dope to see how many businesses come together to pull this off. Blaze, of course, builds the stage, but I mean, dozens of speakers, dozens and dozens of vendors that come in to after the sessions end to really entertain and engage with and edify Black women entrepreneurs across the Buy Black market, to the DJs. Brooklyn, one of our DJs moved from Oakland in the day to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn and South Carolina on the stage. Pilates, we have a Pilates instructor, 2 days of Pilates, sound bath meditation, from all the way in Tanzania, it's just so rich. And so the ability to just be and lean, I think, at least for me, I'm looking forward to letting my hair down in that way.
Yeah. Bend, don't break. Bend, don't break. And even now, as Toya, you mentioned, with, the economic state that we're in, now more than ever to be poured into, but also this is a time to really just scan how you feel mentally, physically, health-wise, and even scan your business now more than ever when it comes to how the economy is and how the recession is going. Agility matters. Knowing how to pivot, knowing how to say yes, knowing how to say no, knowing how to be on your toes and just allow really that space and that grace to learn, to understand, and go deeper into the things that are proving to be valuable to what you're building. I think that is also something that things like the summit, events like the summit, and having a community of Black women entrepreneurs can help and aid you in guiding through that process that you oftentimes can go through alone if you're, a solo entrepreneur, you haven't yet established those teams. But gratefully, I have Toya, Casey, and even going through it as we're a team of 5 and then co-founders of 3, it can still be heavy. But really diving deep and leaning into that journey, that season of pivoting, shifting, moving, changing, revamping, scaling. That's what foundership, that's what entrepreneurship is. So yeah, all the feelings.
Ashe. And definitely, because I wouldn't be here with Blaze today if it wasn't for a hard decision that I had to make too with my own company. And one of the biggest things was that it was too expensive to run.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have that realization of the money coming in, you're spending more than you're making essentially, and your business is literally too expensive to run. Then you have to make some decisions. What do I need to cut? And is that going to impact the experience of my customers and my clients? And is that worth it for me to continue on? Like, these are the hard conversations that we have to ask ourselves, whether it be, cutting your operations, cutting the experience, like, what is that going to look like? But ultimately what it came down to is like realizing that, especially with where we are right now, cash flow is important, and even making sure that we're stacking those bills, because we're going to need them. And especially if, for sustainability, because what could happen is, you could still continue to tire yourself, wear yourself out by not changing anything at all. But that's not what we're here for. We're at Blaze, we're here to build leaders with zero excuses. But we're not just building businesses, we're building leaders here. And so it's not just about making sure that the business stays afloat, but that you as an individual, you as a Black woman entrepreneur, like, this supports you and the lifestyle that you desire.
So good, Toya. And that's so real, right? Like, in times like these, always cash flow generation is important. But when the economy is in a crunch and people are spending less and less money, and it needs to be mission critical when they do, like, it is so important for us to be real with ourselves, right? Like, we can look at so many companies, the ones that still exist, and how much they had to evolve to stay alive. Like, literally had to drop complete arms of their business. And so, for us, just this week, right, as we had those same very tough conversations among ourselves, as much as we, would love to do all of the things for all of the people and solve every problem that exists, it was sobering and actually beautiful for even us to take up space with each other and say, is this mission critical for the solution that we're trying to solve? Like, does this make sense? Is this confusing? Like, do we want to do this if we're not the best at it? With our resources, our time, our money, our efforts, our marketing channels, right, be better spent on a more simplified solution, and especially in recessionary environments? The answer is usually yes. Like, trim that fat, man. So, it's real. Like, and I think it's important, especially as you talk about, Toya, the fact that we're not just building people's businesses. Like, we're building leaders. Like, these are the honest conversations that don't make it to the forefront enough, right? Like, what went into the decision of dropping these very shiny objects, right, that truly on the inside did not bring in any profitability to the company, right? It's good. I mean, it's heavy, right? Like, I'm in a very contemplative state this week, especially going into next weekend, which is why I'm excited to lean, right? To get extra perspective, to see how other people are handling the same business challenges that we're having. But I'm appreciative that I have an executive team to my left and my right where we can tackle these very emotional challenges together, because whenever you're building something, you did it because you believe in it, right? It's like whatever product you're offering, like you legit bled and sweat into it, right? So yeah, I think this is the season for a lot of people right now. Trimming the fat, dropping things entirely, knowing what to quit, because never quitting anything is a complete mistake. Yeah, I agree.
I love it. And I had to specify because I know there's even debates on if we're in a recession, we're going recession, whatever you want to call it. We're in tough times right now. And with tough times, it can be impactful on small businesses. But I know it's still some context around what exactly the economy is going through. But to that point, I guess I just want to ask the question just to kind of give the people a taste of what they can experience at the summit. What has been your most valuable memory from previous summits, and perhaps what's one thing you're looking forward to, especially in Blaze Summit, that you perhaps can't even get anywhere else, something unique that you know you can always find within the Blaze Virtual Summit?
For me, the way that Blaze has created such a rich and dynamic cultural experience virtually is something that I've never seen or never experienced anywhere else. Now, of course, yes, like if you go to in-person events, you're likely to, know maybe most of the people because it's like a regional thing. You have that in-person one-on-one conversations most likely, but to do so in a virtual setting and it still feel like, man, like I don't know this person, I don't know that lady on the stage, but I feel her. That has been kind of mind-blowing to me, and it's really exciting to be a part of, because I think that is one of Blaze's like greatest gifts and something that distinguishes us from a lot of other stages or platforms where people can speak on these stages or these virtual events where, most likely they're selling like workshops and expanding, networks and things like that. But this truly is an event for us, by us. It feels like it. And I'm excited to do it, especially, where we are right now in terms of like the timeline of history, but also because we've got Juneteenth coming up. Like it just makes sense. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I'd say, as I think about one of the best memories that sticks out of my mind, it was the time when a person at the summit came on stage to give a reflection. After being very, very moved by one of the sessions that had just ended. And that's a staple of our summit. Like literally folks in the audience can come on stage like during every session and really emote, right? And engage. And she was telling just her story and how challenging it had been for her, right? And on the spot, somebody in the audience gave her a couple of $1,000s as a grant. Right? Like, where does that happen? Right? Like,
wow.
where is gatekeeping completely shattered like that? Right? For somebody to just be moved, and that's why they're on a global stage across continents, right? Speaking in front of thousands, and then somebody with cash and liquidity to invest, right? To just be able to do it on the spot, right? Powerful. Right? Powerful. And it just keeps going. It's like this graduation story that happens. That person has gone on to completely rebuild her life and be more than okay, and be a shining leader. And it just always happens. Somebody at the next summit was the same thing. Like, this is my need, etc. I was actually moved to mentor her, and I did. I mentored her thereafter. And by the next summit, she had her own booth in the Buy Black market. And then the next summit, she showed up as a speaker. Okay. So yeah, just dope graduation stories that didn't cost people an arm and a leg, right? Which is the case for, your Ivy League colleges, which is the case for a lot of these elite clubs that you're in where the vibes ain't dope, right? Like, it's real stiff. There's a high price of admission even for sitting at certain tables. So yeah, those are my faves.
I think for me, it touches on what both you, Toya, and Casey mentioned, but really, and we've talked about it before, but a cool space where you can see the value directly in networking across, horizontal rather than vertical. So similar to the sense of, not it feeling like a Harvard, a Forbes, that's all cool and all, but really feeling like home, but you're actually making progress in every way. I wish I could promise, that on the spot grant all the time, but man, where do you hear that from? Where do you hear that? That's rare. That is rare.
And because it was organic. Yeah, and because it was organic too, like it wasn't like we designed the structure of the summit to be that way. That's why it's so good. Like, that's why it's so good. It's the energy of it.
It's the energy. It's literally just the space to provide a home, a comfort space. And then the magic happens. And then that's where it flows. Because, yeah. We structured the sessions, the DJ jams. This year, we're going to have that award ceremony highlighting the dopest people in their industries doing what they do. And they just happen to be prominent, amazing Black women, but they are the dopest in their industry. So even dismantling those barriers in the sense of you don't have to just get your award ceremony from, institutions who are predominantly ran by white people. Like, we can celebrate our own, and it means just as much because you're worthy of that, regardless.
That's right.
You're worthy of it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we hope to see y'all there. We are only 4 days away from Juneteenth and the kickoff of the Blaze Virtual Summit 2023 edition, Summer 2023 edition. Absolutely free. Replays for 3 months. I won't overpromise, okay? 3 months if you register. So definitely go to blazevirtualsummit.com and make sure your name is on the list and meet us there. blazevirtualsummit.com. And we are your fractional C-suite. If you are interested in what we offer for companies, definitely check us out. I am pretty cold in finance, if I do say so myself. Hannah is the brilliant mind in strategy, and Toya is a guru in all things operations. Check us out at blazegroupllc.com/fractional C-suite. That's blazegroupllc.com/fractional C-suite. We'll see y'all next time.